Shalom, 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 beloved angelic family and Gentiles. Just a short video today. I want to talk about the Zodiac, the Mazzaroth. Let's get into it. So when we talk about the Zodiac or the Mazzaroth, this is initially what we see because this is what the Gentiles in the Psalms 83 nations gave us because for the most part, most of the world, this is what they know. As far as when you say the zodiac, that it has 12 signs and, blah, 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 right? But they never really tell what it is in the same way that we're told that we're on earth it's a testing ground, but they never really tell what's being tested. Instead, our people were thrown in these churches, and the Gentiles gave us this word sin, and use the Bible, to create this system of slavery, and everything has been wrapped up in a matrix. And when you really sit down and think about our lives, you realize that that's all it is. It's a matrix. You have a matrix that's a web weaved with a bunch of lies, and now we're trying to create this new matrix and weave it according to the truth. So you're fighting a whole bunch of lies that you were told in order to come to a place of truth. And this is what spirituality is all about. And the raising of consciousness is about truth. It doesn't say when you finally get a truth, one truth, you stop. It doesn't say that. It's all about truth. And we've been told so many lies because we were born into a system of lies. So now everything is about unraveling the lies, peeling back the layers, as they say, of this onion to get to the truth. So when you think about the zodiac, you're thinking about a whole lot of physical stuff because it's dealing with what's going on here on earth, and Gentiles have used it, about your love life, your finances, and all of this buffoonery. But it's so much more than that. Oh my God, it's so much more than that. So we're going to look at some of the information. You can't even spend a day, a week, or a month talking about this because there's so much information behind it. But I keep hearing people say, you need to get off the zodiac wheel because this is what they see. I hear people saying, that we're being tested, but never told what we're being tested on. Believe it or not, this will that people see is what we're being tested on. It's how Hercules went through his test. Everything that Hercules went through was symbolic of each one of the zodiac signs. Okay? So everything is created on symbology, and we just have to break it down. Now, in essence, in this slide, you're seeing a portion of what the zodiac really is about. Like Pisces, the unconscious; Aries is the ego and personality; Taurus is the life values; Gemini, self-expression and siblings; Cancer, home; Leo, creativity and good fortune; Virgo, occupation and health; Libra, relationship; Scorpio, other people's resources; Sagittarius, spirituality; Capricorn, highest potential; Aquarius, relationship to the world. Okay, so there's something about these signs that deals with these issues here. And you must remember that when we're here on earth, pretty much everything that we're dealing with is on a physical, the emotional, the mental level, okay? And spirituality then comes about after you go through some things. Okay. Now, with these, people call these personality traits, but it's not so much that they're personality traits as they are vibrations and frequencies of discomfort or dis-ease. Okay. And what happens is it deals with the polarity. The dis-ease is a polarity of positive and negative, such as Aries. I'm an Aries, so I can speak about this. When it talks about ego and personality, personality can be any one of these 12 signs or symbols, okay? It can be either one of these 12. So it's not really putting anything out there to tell what Aries really is. Egos, yeah, Aries can have huge egos and prideful and all these things. But there's a positive side to the ego and a negative side to the ego. One side causes dis-ease, and the other side is comforting. That's what's happening in each one of these signs. So when people say you got to get off of that zodiac wheel, you're never going to get off of it because of the simple fact that there's always going to be something in your life that causes friction or dis-ease. But how you handle it is the real challenge. And that's what the signs are about. Each one of us are going to go through something within each one of these signs. As star seeds, we have to master each one of these issues. We have to gain some type of clarity and some type of relief within these signs or these traits that we're going to go through. And each sign has a particular trait. This is what caused Hercules the dis-ease. And when they talk about he had to fight the Hydra and all of this, it's in these signs. Everything that Hercules went through is in one of the zodiac signs. It's all symbology. But because the Gentiles in the Psalms 83 nations have to give us the truth, they put it in movies, they put it in cartoons. A lot that deals with the males, is in the movies. A lot of issues that come over the females is in the cartoons. And, for some reason, I believe, this is me, I believe that the reason that there are only, four, five, four disciples in the Bible is because the other disciples were females. But that's just me. That's my take on it. Because I don't understand or have clarity regarding why they would leave all of the other men out of their Bible, unless it was because this sign of Pisces that we're coming from under has been about male dominance. But the world to come is more based on the divine feminine when you talk about the sign of Aquarius, okay? So this slide provides information about the bodies that we're dealing with in the chakras, okay? The spheres, the wheels, however you want to call them, for me, there's spheres, they're turning all the time, but wheels, however you want to see them, the chakras, the colors, these colors deal with the rays, okay? All of the rays that come from the sun and that are transmuted to the earth hit the chakras, the spheres in some way, some shape, form, or fashion. I discussed it in a video. So it's going to hit you in the root in a positive or negative way. And those attributes on the last slide, like for Aries and the ego, if you're in the root chakra, the ego usually is going to cause you a lot of problems as an Aryan. Okay, head gonna be swell up. You're gonna think you know it all. Blah blah blah. You're gonna be bossy. You're gonna be trying to control people. Just a lot of things going on there with the Aries in that root chakra with the ego. But then when you transcend that or ascend from the negative and go to the positive sign on the ego and use it to help others but not display it, then you move to another sign because you've already defeated that. And sometimes you're going to be tested again on that same issue to see if you really have defeated what was going on with you um, and that chakra. I was born an Aryan, okay? But I've been told on many occasions that I don't act like an Aries. That's what I've been told. And it's because a lot of the issues with Aries, I transcended those issues, and you have to do the shadow work for that. This is why there is something called shadow work, because generally your shadow is the part of you that you've not dealt with, you've hidden, or you don't even know that exists. And it could be in Aries. You could have an issue that your shadow has to deal with that falls in line with Aries. You may not even know it's there. So you have to transcend all of these issues that are going on. You may not even be born in Aries, but you have the tendencies or the issues that go on under the sign of Aries. And you may not even understand or have clarity why you're behaving this way, why you're doing these things, and why it's repetitive in your life. It's because you are in an area of a sign that you've not yet mastered because you can't identify or unearth where the problem lays. What is causing you to act this way? It's because you're not in your birth sign. You have transcended things within your birth sign, and you may have flown over to another sign that's causing you issues. And you don't understand or have the clarity where this is coming from, which is the reason that when these rays hit these spheres in your body, these chakras, it causes problems, a lot of problems, and people don't know where these problems are coming from, what's generating these problems. Why am I feeling so depressed? Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel that way? It's because it's not really you. It's something within you that you've yet to deal with or identify. And that's how the Mazzaroth, this is how it works. Okay. It may be a part of your personality because this is what Gentiles have always done, personality and wealth and marriage and children and all this type of things. But you have to know thyself. See, we've been told to look outside of ourselves for everything. We're looking outside of ourselves for love. We're looking outside of ourselves for comfort. We're looking outside of ourselves for the mighty one. We're looking outside of ourselves for everything, but it's all within us. The mighty one gave us spirits. We have the spirit of life. We have the spirit of the mighty one. That's in us. We don't have to look outside ourselves for that. We have the spirit of the Christ, the Mashiach. We have that spirit within us. We don't have to go looking for Christ outside of us. The Gentiles in the Psalms 83 nations gave us that buffoonery with these churches and had us worshiping. See, Yaldabaoth, Yaldabaoth. See, the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. Okay? Yaldabaoth. He wanted people to worship him. The mighty one never asked for worship because he's inside of us. The temple is us. We're the temple. But Gentiles and Psalms 83 nations gave us brick and mortar as temples to go worship Yaldabaoth. Oh boy, oh boy. Our people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. We have no clarity because we're going outside of ourselves to find what the mighty one laid within us. You will forever be lost. Sorry, family, I just had to take a moment to just regroup, to pull it together. Our people just can't seem to separate themselves from the lies that the Gentiles and Psalms 83 nations have given us, and we keep running back to wallow in the same garbage, and it's never going to work. On this next slide here, you have the 7 layers of the human energy field. So this is to tell you that the physical body, the etheric, the emotional, the mental, astral, spiritual, all of these are energies that emit frequencies. The energies and how we emit those frequencies is the music within our system. How the music plays within our system affects the root chakra, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the brow, and the crown chakra. This is music to my ear, okay? Our body is playing its own music at different octaves, different tones, depending on the disease of the body and the spiritual side of the body. Based on our system, what the ray is coming in the bodies at the time, because all of these colors represent the rays that are transmuted to the earth. How it affects our body in the root chakra, which is survival, where it's going to work every day. These people, Yaldabaoth and his people, they set up a system of survival. Pay the bills, You got to go to work. You got to eat. You got to have drink. You got to have comfort. This affects our body, our legs, our feet, the base of our spine, the rectum, the anus, the reproductive organs, everything. So depending on where we are is the energy or frequency that our body emits. If you don't do the shadow work, you're always going to be at some type of dis-ease. There will be dis-ease in the body. You must do the shadow work. People keep making it seem like this is about food. It's not about food. This is so much deeper than what you eat. Eat the truth. When you eat the truth, it changes the frequency of your body. If it changes the frequency of your body, it raises the frequency. Truth raises the frequency of your body. It's the reason that Gentiles are always throwing us lies out. And when you repeat those lies, you give energy to it because it has a frequency of energy in your body that surrounds you. When you tell a lie and you pull other people into that lie, the frequency on the earth continues to go down. And it does this up and down thing. We must worship in the spirit of truth. And when I say worship, I mean you have to go around in your body and change your frequency to the spirit of truth. I'm not talking about this worship that the Gentiles gave us. All of this Gentile stuff, our people can't come out of it. That Bible is based on symbology. If you can never leave that, you stay in the same place and your body emits the same frequency, which is why people continue to fail the test, because you're in a wormhole, a loop. You're in that darkness, that energy, because the veil continues to surround you and you can't be removed from that. When people see the zodiac, they see it as a circle. Okay? You got to get off that wheel, that spinning wheel. But the zodiac is not a circle. It's what Gentiles gave us. And I just can't understand why our people cannot disconnect from the buffoonery. Why symbols are so important. They've blasted these symbols in our face and we continue to see them and we cannot disconnect from them. The zodiac is our temple. Is your temple round? Is it a wheel? It's not a damn wheel. These energies are coming into the body. You're not riding some wheel. The energies of frequencies have colors. The rainbow was given to us for a reason, and it's been perverted, but it's still the rainbow, no matter what they do to pervert it. The colors are the same. Even if they turn them upside down, flip them to and fro, it doesn't matter. It was given to us as a sign, a symbol. Okay? It's all symbology. We're not on some wheel. The sign of Aries is the head. It's where all your thinking is done. Oh boy. It's intelligence. Every sign affects the body. Your brain is in your head. There's cerebral hemispheres that are only hemispheres because it has not, the brain hasn't become a whole again. It was divided into a right hemisphere and a left hemisphere, but that's not what it really is. When everything connects the way it's supposed to be, that brain is not going to be divided. It's going to come together as a whole system the way it was before, which is the reason that that Gentiles gave us the reading from left to right instead of right to left. We have to change our thinking. These symbols are there for a reason. Gentiles and Psalms 83 nations did not come up with this. They named everything so that they could have ownership of it. That's why they gave it the names that they did. I wrote the Hebrew names on this slide. It's the physiological correlated to the galactic Mazzaroth. This is galactic. Okay? This is not a wheel. This is the temple that we carry the mighty one in. This is not some outside stuff that we're going looking around. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Gentiles gave us this stuff. Psalms 83 nations separated and divided us from the truth, from the mighty one, and separated everything because this Yaldabaoth said that he was a jealous God. He wanted to sit high. He wanted people to worship him. That's what the churches were for. The temples, the new temples outside and away from your body. It's the rock. We are the rock. The foundation is the truth. So here it says, what is the significance of there being 12 primary constellations or 12 families? I forgot to mention on the other slide, there was Ophiuchus. Okay, so I've looked into Ophiuchus a bit, but you got to do your own research on this, okay? As far as it affects your body and everything. So they have discontinued or retired some of the signs. I learned this when I was I was going to do a complete Mazzaroth about Hercules and each one of the challenges that he faced using the Mazzaroth. But I only had a few of them. And so I figured, I'll just stick with us the way we are today. So some of the planets or planes that this dealt with are no longer, they discontinued them in the same way that they tried to say that Pluto was no longer a planet. Let me just leave it at that. Okay, any research you need to do, you can do it on your own. Okay, so let's get to this. We're asking, what is the significance of there being 12 primary constellations or 12 star families? So it says in the scripture, the number 12 is a symbol of faith, the church. They're talking about the church as a brick and mortar, but we know that the church is the body. Okay, it has nothing to, you're not going to find the mighty one in a building. I can tell you that, in a brick and mortar building. You can go visit it as many times as you want to. It's not found there. It's never going to be found there. That's not what it is. The church or the temple is your body. They created that place so that you could go worship Yaldabaoth. Okay, I mean, that's just the truth of the matter, because he needed to sit up high, like the Most High. He wanted people to worship him. Okay, so that's what you got. That's the truth of the matter. You can take it any way you want to. I don't care. So, and the kingdom of God, which is within us. Okay, ye are gods. And what that means is that we're supposed to take on the attributes of the Hamashiach, the way he did things when he came, when he was here. Okay? It is one of the most spiritually significant of all numbers found in the Bible. The Old Testament book of Genesis states that there are 12 sons of Jacob, and the Messiah had 12 apostles. There are also 12 gates, 12 foundation stones in the New Jerusalem, and they put the scripture there, Revelation 21, 12, and 14. So these are in script, they're not the names of the tribes. So they have this listed as the tribe names, but that's not, they changed all of the tribe names. Okay. I have the tribe names, but I've not figured out which tribe those names belong to yet. But this is just a name that they used, or what was that word? I can't think of it, but anyway, this is the name that they used when they changed all the names to these names, okay? But these are not the names. And then the tribal ensign, or taken from Jacob's prophecy, is the water or water carrier, sword, persecution, priesthood, judgment. So this is what that represents. Now, I actually put in the constellations, I actually went through and I put down the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph Bet, and um, what it meant, okay? Yod, and the sign for Yod, okay? But then Jacob's prophecy is here in Bereshit 49, or Genesis 49, 4, and so on. So this is how it relates to the Bible and the symbology of it all. This is all about symbolism. Because everything on the Zodiac or the Mazzaroth is about symbology. Once you take away all of the other nonsense and you can see the esoteric information regarding the symbology of it all, then you realize immediately that you're not on a wheel. This is not about you being on a wheel. Gentiles gave you that wheel. Some of us are still stuck on the wheel because we can't see the truth that this is the temple. This is your body. And these are the transitions. See, when we came to earth or to Kai, it was for a test. What exactly are we being tested on? And why are we being tested? Came here, we made a decision to come here and go through these tests. What are we being tested on? There was something within us before. And I can tell you right now, when our ancestors or we went through that 40 years in the wilderness, okay? After we left Egypt, we brought the mixed multitude. We were a mixed multitude because it wasn't all Israelites. But really, in essence, we should have left those people in Egypt where they were. But Moshe, thinking that he could, work with them and change them and do what thought came to do, he was unable to do. And everything went to hell in a handbasket, literally. And so that we brought that mixed multitude out because one thing about our people, and I learned this reading the book of Yatakah and Kava, Adam and Eve, and many people don't realize when Adam and Eve, when they had the fall in consciousness, because that's what the fall was. It was a fall in consciousness. When they fell in consciousness, and they disobeyed the Mighty One, it was because they were children. People think that Adam and Eve were adults. They weren't. Adam tried to commit suicide on many occasions. He was a child. They were what, 12, 13 when they came in, they were weaned from the breast and they left Gamal. All of this is in the book of remembrance of Enoch. You'd have to go through and read that book. It's a very, very good book. Adam was very, very naive. And this is why. This is the reason that it was so easy for him to be misguided and for Kava to be misguided because they were children. They didn't know. They didn't know any better. So the heart, they had tender hearts. Give your shirt off your back to a stranger. This was the weakness within our people. It was a strength, but it was a weakness. See, people take kindness as a sign of weakness. These are the people that we've been dealing with, this mixed multitude that came out of Egypt. These are the people that we've been dealing with all of this time. This mixed multitude, the people who aren't like us. The people who have caused us a lot of dis-ease and friction because they're not like us. And we can't understand, well, why can't he do this? Why can't this person do that? Why this and why that? This is what we're going through with the Mazzaroth. These are the challenges that we've had to face because our heart is not like their heart. Our spirit, our souls are not like theirs. And this is what I tried to show you guys in the first video. These people, creatures, or entities, or deities, they're not like us. They're never going to be like us. They can't change into us. Okay? Love, love, love everybody. Love everybody. Well, we got to love, love, love everybody. That's not what that means. That's not what love is. We have to love ourselves more than we love them. And this is something that we weren't able to do. Well, I can't speak for the rest of you, but I can speak for me. I always loved other people more than I loved myself, and it caused me a lot of disease. A lot. I would give to please everybody else. I always did. As a child, I was that way. And I'm pretty sure many of the Israelites were that way. This is why they lived off and sucked out our energy. They're energy vampires because we give, and they take. There's no balance. The negative side is they're takers. The positive side of us is we're givers. They had two negative sides. We had two positive sides because we gave. We didn't know how to say no. We loved everybody except ourselves. Now that must change. We must balance out the giving and the taking within ourselves. And that means that you're going to step on people's toes when you say no. No, no, no. I heard the beloved brother Big Judah talking about this in his video. I think I listened to it yesterday. They love you to death until you stop going out of that church and going into that church and you say no. No, you cannot have this. It's like children when they fall out and have tantrums when you tell them no, they can't have something. This is that negative side because there's no balance. They haven't been able to balance the positive and realize that, okay, it's okay if I'm told no because I probably don't need that anyway. This is why we were in the wilderness for 40 years. We were out with that mixed multitude. We had a lot of disease. We didn't know how to say no. People think that saying no means that you got to toughen up and you got to be ugly. You don't have to be. But if that's what comes out of you, this is the reason that we're doing shadow work. It's not a bad thing. Everything got turned around and mixed up because Gentiles brought their buffoonery in it. And they used the scripts against us in a negative way. And we fell into the trap because of the heart, because we love everybody. That's not what love is. Love is having the strength within yourself to say no. This is the reason you have to know thyself, and you have to go through all 12 or 13 of those signs in order to know thyself. This is not about a brick and mortar building. This one, I like this one. What are the main terms and concepts of basic biblical astronomy? See, people, Gentiles and Psalms 83 nations took our information, divvied it out amongst themselves, gave out the astrology, never showed how the astronomy ties in with the astrology, how it all works together. But it all works together. The first concept to understand is that there are 12 primary constellations. Now they said there are 12 primary ones. They didn't say that that they were the only ones. Okay? 12 primary ones. These are the constellations which lie upon the ecliptic path. which is the red line in the illustration on the right. Okay, look at that, because if you don't know what the ecliptic path is, this is time to, do some research and some reading, because it's important for you to know that these are the signs that go along this path. These are the constellations. They're not the only constellations, but these are the constellations along this path. Okay. As the Earth orbits around the Sun in the year, the Sun visually appears to pass through the primary 12 constellations, which are Bethula, Virgo, what's the name, Libra. These are all of the Hebrew words for this, okay? And then they give you the Gentile in Psalms 83 nations names that they gave it, okay? But each of the 12 primary constellations has 3 deacons, okay, which are supporting constellations that add to the meaning and message of the primary constellation. These primary constellations with 3 deacons each makes 48, which is a total number of ancient constellations. Okay, so now let me tell you about the deacons. Now I have them in another slide. Oh, let me go ahead and make a copy of it and put it in here so you'll know. But I'm not going to go into it. So the deacons, when you have these issues or outbursts or things that are happening in your life, or things that arise that you don't know where did that come from? This is not normal. I don't usually respond when something like this happens above, just kind of out of the blue. Look at the deacons. It's the deacons, where it comes from. These are the supporters of the constellations. So if you have something that comes out of the ordinary, some behavior or something that happens, and you don't know where it came from, it probably came from the deacons. They have as much frequency and influence upon the signs as the signs themselves. They support the signs. So that energy or vibration that you get that's different, it comes from the deacons. I was checking in the book to see if all the deacons were broken down in one specific location, but they didn't have them broken down like that. So I'll at some point do another video and we'll go over all of the deacons for each one of the signs, or I'll just post it. I'll go through and break them down and just post them, okay? So the ecliptic that they were talking about, this is what it really looks like. This is your wheel. This is your circle, okay? This is the only thing that makes it a circle, okay? But there's so much more to it than that. And then if you look out here, it says the 12 primary constellations and the 4 Mazzaroth Quarants. I'm gonna challenge you guys to a little something. Look at the lion corn, the eagle, the bull, and the man, because there's something about this in the Bible, okay? About the face of an eagle, the face of a man, the face of a bull and lion. This is a symbology of that, okay? But it says in the Bible and in the heavens, the Hamashiach is portrayed as Messiah, the branch. There are 5 prophetic roles which the branch was foretold to fulfill. His fulfillment of these branch prophecies was evident that the Hamashiach was the true Messiah. The symbols of the Hamashiach's branch roles are the eagle for his messianic work as God, the man for his human role, the bull for his servant role, the lion for his kingly role, and the worthy lamb for his sacrifice, the lamb of Tulay. Okay, so there's much more to that, but this is not the video for that. I really just wanted to let you guys know that when they're talking about the will, this is the will of the Mazzaroth. But there's so much more to it. When you look at this, you know, you see it as a will or a spear going around the earth, but this is what people see when they see those signs. But there's so much to signs and symbols and sigils, and I mean all of this symbology, you know, it is so much. It's so overwhelming because there's so much knowledge that this encompasses that no one person can know it all. Hats and shout out to the beloved brother Big Levi because he got a lot of this part of it down. Okay, so I want to leave you guys with this little bit of information. Okay, keys. The knowledge necessary for a full understanding of esoteric truth. We're not talking about exoteric, okay? This is esoteric. This is hidden truths. This is the reason that the brothers, you know, especially Brother Big Judah, is going back and pulling out so much of the past, you know, the historical truth, because we've been lied to about everything. It's a must. There are 7 keys, each of which have 7 sublevels. Physiological, physiological, symbological, psychological, metaphysical, astrological, geometrical, and numerological. So we know that there are more. These are the sublevels of the 7 keys, because the keys of Enoch, there are a lot of keys in there. Some people burn that book, but you know what? That book is an excellent book. Different sources use different names for the same keys, so the above list is tentative. In the future, there might be as many as 12 keys. And we know that there are more than that, based on the keys of Enoch, okay? So this is going to explain about the symbolism, because there's a lot of symbolism in the Bible, and you have to get the esoteric understanding just to tie it in to the information that you're getting that's not within the Bible, because it all fits. When the reader perceives the symbolism of the words, they will no doubt read the text in a different way. Each word can have an esoteric symbol. City may be translated as unity, forest as people, sword as order, arrow as thought. And if you look in the Black's Law Dictionary, a lot of the esoteric knowledge regarding the symbology of words is there. It's in that book. Because what they put out and you believe is a city is not a city. What you believe is a person is something completely different. What you think is a citizen is not what you really believe is a citizen. So if you get that Black's Law Dictionary, you're going to find out a lot of esoteric knowledge that you don't even know based on your everyday life, okay? I'm not going to read all of this. I just wanted to point out some things in here. In many sacred texts, lines and paragraphs are marked with numbers. These are keys to their secret meaning. But it should be borne in mind that all 7 turns of the numerological key can be applied only to the original text, not a translation. So they're telling us that what we see in the scripts is a translation and not the original text. So the keys that were given in that sacred text won't work the same way in the transcribed biblical texts. So a lot of the key, or none of the key is there. You're going to miss it all if you look at the Bible through just your regular eyes that you think are spiritual but really are carnal. I don't know how to explain the spirituality and the carnality when you think that you're spiritual but you really are speaking carnal. You This is where you have to get on that Mazzaroth and find out the truth. Okay, that's all I can say about that. Someone who knows the mystery of numbers may add words and sounds, or the number of words and syllables, or something else, and hence read a completely different text. Whereas in the case of a translation, one can apply only a few sub-levels of the numerological knowledge. You don't have it based on the numbers that you were given. You may have the numbers, but when you transcribe it, it's completely different. Only the Kohans of wisdom. I don't say lords because there are people walking around here that think that they're lords and think that you're giving them homage, and we don't do that. Only the Kohans of wisdom possess all 7 keys to cosmic knowledge, revealing them one after another to their disciples. So, what it's saying that these people who walking around here that look like you, put your clothes on the same way that you do, and speak the same language, they're disciples and they're teaching you stuff, which is the reason it's so important for you to get out of the Gentile buffoonery in their lives, because those indoctrination systems have indoctrinated a lot of people and they're stuck in it. Even people who did not go to those indoctrination institutions for a long period of time, they're indoctrinated anyway. Let's go down here to knowledge. Knowledge, one sentence out of this. Knowledge, the realization of reality through comprehension of the endless facets of truth. Let me read that one again. Knowledge is the realization of reality through comprehension, which is understanding of the endless, there's no end to it, facets of truth. There's no end to truth. There is no end to the knowledge of this truth. You think you've arrived and you got it all. That veil hasn't been lifted yet. It is poured forth throughout space, constituting a single unified treasury or ocean of knowledge, which is constantly being filled by the great teachers with thoughts, images, and ideas. This is what they did. They took the information that was ours, regurgitated, put a whole lot of symbology on it, and gave it back to us and said, this is what we have for you. You have graduated our indoctrination institutions that we did nothing but lie to you about. We gave you nothing. We gave you your information, but we put a twist on it. We perverted it and we wrapped it up in some symbols called Jesus, and we gave it to you because we can't let you know that everything that is written in those sacred texts is already within you, because ye are God. All praises to the mighty one. Much love and respect to the divine earthly mother. Love to our brother, the Hamashiach. Shalom, 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 beloved angelic family. and Gentiles.